I was wiping applesauce off the wall when Director Kim burst into the playroom, looking like she might faint. He's coming. Seo Han Jae-woo is coming in 30 minutes. She grabbed my shoulders, shaking me slightly. Clean up the VIP area. Make sure no children wander over there. This donation could save our daycare. My twins, Miho and Sora, chose that exact moment to dump an entire basket of building blocks onto the floor. The crash echoed through the room. I'll handle it, I promised, already herding my 3-year-old tornadoes toward the play area. 29 minutes later, I was on my hands and knees scrubbing juice stains when I heard Director Kim's overly cheerful voice approaching. And this is our main facility, Mr. Han. We pride ourselves on. I looked up and immediately forgot how to breathe. He was tall, intimidatingly so, in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than my entire year's salary. Sharp jawline, perfectly styled black hair, and eyes so cold they could frost windows. He surveyed the room like he was calculating its monetary value down to the last one. The facility is adequate, he said, his voice deep and dismissive. I scrambled to my feet, bowing quickly. Too quickly. I stumbled, and his hand shot out, steadying me by the elbow. His touch burned through my thin cardigan. Careful, he said, releasing me immediately as if I'd contaminated him. Thank you, sir. I'm sorry Daddy. My heart stopped. Please don't. Miho and Sora had escaped from the play area and were now running full speed toward us, their little legs pumping with determination. Daddy's here. Sora squealed, launching herself at Seo Han's legs and wrapping around his knee like a koala. Miho crashed into his other leg. We missed you, Daddy. I wanted the floor to swallow me whole. I'm so sorry, Mr. Han. They've never. My face was burning so hot I probably looked sunburned. They don't have a father, and sometimes they just attach to random. My voice died as he crouched down to the twins' level. The transformation was startling. His ice-cold expression cracked, something vulnerable flickering across his features. He stared at Miho and Sora like they were precious artifacts he'd lost and somehow found again. What are their names? His voice had softened, almost gentle. Miho and Sora, I stammered. They're 3. They're usually better behaved, I swear. Sora had grabbed onto his expensive tie, wrinkling it without mercy. Daddy, you're so tall. Can you pick me up? Instead of being annoyed, he carefully extracted his tie from her grip and stood, lifting Sora with him. She giggled, delighted, while Miho tugged on his pant leg jealously. Not fair. Me too. CEO Han looked at Director Kim. Do you have a private office? Weiss, of course. He turned those intense eyes on me. Bring them. We need to talk. My legs felt like jelly as I scooped up Miho and followed them to the director's office. Director Kim excused herself quickly, clearly terrified of whatever was about to happen. Seo Han set Sora down gently and watched both twins toddle around the office, touching everything with their sticky fingers. He didn't seem to care that Miho was now examining his leather briefcase. How old did you say they are? He asked quietly. 3. They turned 3 last month. And their father? I wrapped my arms around myself defensively. Not in the picture. Never was. His jaw tightened. I see. Sora came back and reached up to him. Daddy, will you come play with us? We have trucks. Something in his expression broke my heart, raw pain mixed with longing. He knelt down again and gently touched her cheek. I have to go soon, but... He paused, then looked up at me. I'll be back. Mr. Han, you really don't have to. I'll be back, he repeated firmly, standing. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a business card, pressing it into my palm. His fingers lingered against mine for a moment too long. My private number. Call me tonight. 8 p.m. We need to discuss this. Discuss what? It was just a misunderstanding. 8 p.m., he said again, then shocked me by patting both twins on the head before leaving. After he left, Director Kim rushed in, pale-faced. What happened? Is he angry? Will he still donate? I don't know, I admitted, staring at the card in my hand. The paper was thick, expensive. Gold-embossed letters spelled out, Han Jae-woo, Seo Han Corporation. As I gathered the twins to take them home, Director Kim's assistant, a gossipy woman named Mrs. Park, pulled me aside. You don't know, do you? She whispered. Know what? Seo-han. She glanced around nervously. 3 years ago, his fiancée was pregnant with twins. There was an accident. He lost all 3 of them. It destroyed him. He became this cold, ruthless businessman overnight. She looked at Miho and Sora meaningfully. Same age. Twins. You showing up with them? My blood ran cold. Oh my God. That night at exactly 8 p.m., my phone rang. A known number. I answered with shaking hands. Hello. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. Han Corporation, top floor. His voice was all business again, but I could hear something else underneath. Desperation, maybe. Don't bring the twins yet. We talk first. Mr. Han. Call me Jaiwoo, he interrupted. And tomorrow, I'm making you an offer you'll want to hear. He hung up before I could respond, leaving me staring at my phone, my heart racing with fear and something else I didn't want to name. What kind of offer could a billionaire Seo possibly have for a broke daycare worker? I had a feeling my life was about to change completely. The Han Corporation building pierced the Seoul skyline like a glass monument to wealth and power. I stood at the entrance, smoothing down my only decent dress, a simple navy blue number I usually saved for job interviews, and questioning every life choice that had led me here. The elevator ride to the top floor felt like ascending to another world. Each floor that blinked by represented a life I'd never have, opportunities I'd sacrificed when I chose to keep the twins. The doors opened to reveal a stunning reception area. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcased the sprawling city below. A beautiful secretary looked me up and down with barely concealed disdain. You must be here for Mr. Han. He's expecting you. She gestured toward massive double doors. Go right in. I knocked softly, and his voice called out, Enter. The office was breathtaking, all modern furniture, expensive art, and that same panoramic view. But I barely noticed because Jaiwoo was leaning against his desk, having shed his suit jacket. His white shirt was rolled up at the sleeves, tie loosened, revealing a glimpse of his collarbone that made my mouth go dry. You came, he said, as if he doubted I would. You made it sound important. It is. He gestured to a leather chair. Sit, please. I perched on the edge, too nervous to relax. He poured 2 glasses of water from a crystal pitcher, handing me one. Our fingers brushed, and that same electric shock from yesterday ran through me. I've thought about nothing but your twins since yesterday, he began, sitting on the edge of his desk, close enough that I could smell his cologne, something expensive and woodsy. And about you. My heart hammered. Mr. Han. Jaiwoo, he corrected. What I'm about to propose will sound insane. Possibly offensive. But hear me completely before you react. I nodded, gripping my water glass like a lifeline. Your twins need a father figure. Stability. Financial security. His dark eyes locked onto mine. I need something to fill the void that's been consuming me for 3 years. So I'm proposing a contract. A contract? My voice came out barely above a whisper. Move into my penthouse in Cheongdam-dong with the twins. I'll provide everything, education, clothes, food, healthcare. You'll quit the daycare. Focus on finishing your degree. He paused, his gaze intensifying. In return, you'll accompany me to social events as my partner. Play the role of my significant other in public. That's insane, I breathed. You're asking me to be your fake girlfriend? Not just that. He stood, moving closer until he was right in front of me. I had to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. You'll also be available when I need comfort. Physical comfort. I shot to my feet, nearly dropping my glass. You want me to be your prostitute? No. His hand caught my wrist, firm but not painful. I want you to be my lover. There's a difference. I won't force anything. Every touch will be your choice. But I won't pretend I don't want you. You don't even know me. I know enough. His thumb stroked the inside of my wrist, and I hated how my body responded. I know you're raising twins alone while working multiple jobs. I know you're brave enough to walk into a CEO's office despite being terrified. I know that when you smile at your children, it's the most beautiful thing I've seen in 3 years. This is crazy, I whispered, but I didn't pull away. 1 year, he continued, his voice dropping lower. If real feelings develop naturally, we discuss marriage and making this permanent. If not, you leave with 500 million won and my legal team ensuring your ex never bothers you again. 500 million won. That was enough to finish school, buy a small apartment, secure the twins' future. It was more money than I'd see in a lifetime of working at the daycare. And if I say no? Something painful flashed across his face. Then I'll make the donation to the daycare and never contact you again. But those children already love me and He turned away, his shoulders rigid. I haven't felt alive since the accident. Yesterday, when they called me daddy, when I held your daughter, for the first time in 3 years, I wanted to wake up the next morning. The vulnerability in his voice cracked something inside me. This wasn't just a business transaction. This was a man drowning, reaching for anything to keep from going under. I need to think about it, I said finally. He pulled out a key card from his pocket, pressing it into my palm. Penthouse 100, Cheongdam-dong. The door code is 0325, their birthday if I remember correctly. I stared at him shocked. How did you? I had my assistant research everything last night. His hand cupped my cheek, and I should have pulled away but couldn't. I don't do anything halfway. If you're going to be in my life, I need to know you're safe. That they're safe. This is moving too fast. I know. His thumb brushed my lower lip and my breath hitched. But I also know that the moment I saw you on your knees cleaning that floor, trying so hard to make everything perfect while your children destroyed everything you fixed, I knew I wanted you in my life. However I could have you. He stepped back, creating distance that felt both relieving and disappointing. You have until this weekend. Move in Saturday, or don't. But know this. His eyes burned into mine. I'm not playing games. If you accept, I'm all in. And I expect the same from you. I left his office in a daze, the key card burning in my pocket. That night, after putting the twins to bed, I stood on my tiny apartment balcony looking toward Gangnam, where his penthouse waited. 1 year. Financial security. A father for my children. And a man who looked at me like I was the answer to prayers I didn't know he'd been praying. Saturday couldn't come fast enough. Or maybe it was coming too fast. I honestly couldn't tell anymore. 3 weeks of living in Jaiwa's penthouse, and I still wasn't used to waking up in sheets that probably cost more than my old monthly rent. The twins had adjusted instantly. They had their own massive bedroom filled with toys Jaiwa kept buying despite my protests. Every morning, they'd rush to find Daddy before even brushing their teeth. And Jaiwa? He transformed into someone I barely recognized from that cold CEO in the daycare. He read bedtime stories with different voices for each character. He carried both twins on his shoulders through the apartment. Yesterday, I'd found him attempting to braid Sora's hair. It looked terrible, but she'd refused to let me fix it. Daddy did it, she'd announced proudly. But the nights were slowly destroying my sanity. It started innocently enough. Wine after the twins slept, conversations on the balcony overlooking the Han River. Then his hand on my lower back became routine when we walked together. His good morning kisses on my forehead began lingering dangerously close to my lips. I'd been avoiding being alone with him, and we both knew it. Tonight, I'd stayed in the shower longer than necessary, letting the hot water ease the tension in my shoulders. When I emerged in just a towel, I nearly screamed. Jaiwa was in my bedroom, holding one of my shirts. This was in my laundry, he said, but his eyes weren't on the shirt. They were traveling slowly down my damp skin, following water droplets that trailed from my collarbone downward. I'll take it, I said quickly, reaching out. He didn't let go. Instead, he stepped closer. You've been avoiding me. I haven't. Don't lie. Another step. I was backed against the dresser now. Every time I try to touch you, you suddenly remember something you need to do. Every time we're alone, you find an excuse to leave. That's not true, I protested weakly. No. His free hand came up to cup my face, thumb stroking my cheekbone. Then why are you trembling right now? Because you're too close. Because you smell too good. Because I'm terrified of how much I want this. This is just a contract, I whispered, but even I didn't believe it anymore. Is it? He dropped the shirt, both hands now on my waist, thumbs stroking through the damp towel. Then why do you watch me when you think I'm not looking? Why do you blush every time I compliment you? Why? His lips hovered near my ear. Do you say my name in your sleep? My face burned. I don't. You do. I heard you last night. I was checking on the twins, and your door was open. His voice dropped to a rough whisper. Do you know how hard it was to walk away? To not come in here and make those dreams reality? I couldn't breathe. My hands had somehow found their way to his chest, feeling his heart racing as fast as mine. Jaiwoo. I meant it as a warning, but it came out like a plea. Tell me to stop, he murmured, his lips brushing my temple. Tell me you want this to stay professional. Tell me you don't feel this fire between us. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. He pulled back just enough to meet my eyes, and what I saw there made my knees weak, raw desire mixed with something deeper, more dangerous. That's what I thought, he said, and then his mouth was on mine. The kiss was everything I'd been denying I wanted, desperate, hungry, 3 weeks of tension exploding between us. His hands tightened on my waist, pulling me flush against him, and I gasped at the contact. He took advantage, deepening the kiss until I was dizzy. My towel loosened. I should have cared. I didn't. We shouldn't, I tried to protest when we broke for air. Why not? His lips moved to my neck, and I nearly melted. We're both adults. Both single. Both clearly wanting this. The contract. Forget the contract. He lifted me onto the dresser, stepping between my legs. I'm done pretending this is just business. Done pretending I don't think about you constantly. Done. His hands slid up my thighs, pretending I don't want you so badly it's driving me insane. The twins are sound asleep. I checked. His forehead rested against mine. Stop thinking. Stop overthinking. Just feel. Do you want this? Do you want me? God help me, I did. I wanted him so much I ached with it. Yes, I breathed, and that was all the permission he needed. The towel fell away completely. His shirt followed shortly after. The rest became a blur of heated skin and whispered names and pleasure I'd never experienced before. Later, tangled in my sheets with his arm around my waist, I traced patterns on his chest. This changes everything, I whispered. Good. He caught my hand, bringing it to his lips. I want it to change. I want this to be real. It's only been 3 weeks. 3 weeks where I've fallen asleep thinking about you and woken up wanting to see your smile. 3 weeks where those twins became mine in every way that matters. 3 weeks where I felt more alive than I have in 3 years. He tilted my chin up. Tell me you don't feel it too. I couldn't. Because I did feel it, this terrifying, wonderful thing growing between us. I'm scared, I admitted. Me too. He kissed my forehead. But I'd rather be scared with you than empty without you. I snuggled closer, letting his heartbeat lull me toward sleep. Tomorrow we'd figure out what this meant. Tomorrow we'd deal with reality. Tonight I just wanted to stay in this perfect moment, where a broken CEO and a struggling single parent somehow found a way to make each other whole. Jaiwoo. Thank you. For choosing us. His arms tightened around me. Thank you for letting me. I stared at my reflection in the full-length mirror, barely recognizing myself. The emerald green gown Jaiwoo had chosen hugged every curve, the backless design dipping dangerously low. Diamond earrings, borrowed from some luxury boutique, sparkled at my ears. You look breathtaking, Jaiwoo said from the doorway, devastatingly handsome in his black tuxedo. I look expensive, I corrected nervously. This dress costs more than my old car. He crossed the room, his hands settling on my bare waist. You look like mine, he murmured against my ear, making me shiver. The charity gala at the Grand Hyatt was overwhelming. Crystal chandeliers, champagne fountains, Seoul's elite dripping in designer everything. Jaiwoo's hand never left my waist, occasionally dipping lower when he thought no one was looking. You're enjoying this power trip, I whispered as he introduced me as his partner to some hotel tycoon. I'm enjoying that everyone knows you're mine, he corrected, lips brushing my ear. And imagining taking this dress off later. Heat flooded my cheeks. We're in public. Then stop biting your lip like that, or I won't make it through dinner. I was about to respond when I saw him across the room, and my blood ran cold. Kang Min-seo, the man who'd abandoned me when I was 3 months pregnant. What's wrong? Jaiwoo noticed immediately, following my gaze. Who is that? My ex, I whispered. The twins' biological father. Jaiwoo's entire body went rigid. His hand on my waist became possessive, almost territorial. Does he know you're here? I don't think. But Minseo had spotted me. His eyes went wide, and he started making his way toward us through the crowd. Breathe, Jaiwoo commanded softly. I've got you. Minseo reached us, looking better than he had any right to, expensive suit, styled hair, fake smile. Baby? What are you doing here? The audacity made me see red. Don't call me that. And the twins, you kept them from me. His voice rose slightly, drawing attention. Jaiwoo stepped slightly in front of me, his voice deadly quiet. You have 10 seconds to walk away. Who the hell are you? Minseo's eyes narrowed. Wait, you're Han Jaiwoo. The Seo. He looked between us, comprehension dawning. Oh, I see. You're with him now? Using my children to... Your children? Jaiwoo's laugh was cold enough to freeze hell. The children you abandoned? The partner you left while pregnant? You have no rights here. Those are my kids. I have legal. You have nothing, Jaiwoo cut him off. You signed away parental rights 3 years ago when you took money from her parents to disappear. Yes, I know all about that. My lawyers are very thorough. Minseo's face paled. He turned to me desperately. Baby, please. I made a mistake. We can be a family. He reached for my arm, and everything happened at once. Jaiwoo moved like lightning, grabbing Minseo's wrist and twisting him toward the wall. Several security guards materialized from nowhere. Touch what's mine again. Jaiwoo's voice was barely audible but somehow more terrifying for it, and I'll destroy everything you have. That junior executive position at Kim Industries? Gone. Your apartment lease? Terminated. Your career in this city? Over. He leaned closer. The twins call me daddy. And him. He glanced back at me with raw possession. I'm done pretending this is just a contract. Security escorted a protesting Minseo out while the crowd pretended not to stare. Jaiwoo returned to me, cupping my face gently despite the violence that had just radiated from him. Are you okay? I nodded shakily. You didn't have to. Yes, I did. His thumb stroked my cheek. Nobody threatens my family. Nobody. My family. The words made my heart stutter. We left early, the gala ruined. Back at the penthouse, after checking on the sleeping twins, Jaiwoo pulled me onto the balcony overlooking the glittering city. I meant what I said back there, he began, turning me to face him. This stopped being a contract the first week. Maybe the first day. I don't know anymore. Jaiwoo, I'm in love with you. The words tumbled out like he'd been holding them back too long. Completely. Inconveniently. Desperately. I love how you sing off-key while cooking. I love how you always check on the twins one more time before bed. I love how you've made this cold penthouse feel like a home. Tears pricked my eyes. The year isn't up. The contract. Forget the year. Forget the contract. He reached into his jacket, pulling out a small velvet box. Marry me. Not because of some agreement or the twins. Because I want to wake up to you every morning for the rest of my life. Because you've made me whole again in a way I never thought possible. He opened the box, revealing a stunning diamond ring that caught the city lights. The twins need a daddy, I said, voice wavering with emotion. Is that a yes? That's me being difficult before I say yes. I laughed through tears. Yes, I'll marry you. Because I love you too. Because somewhere between playing house and late-night conversations and watching you fail at braiding hair, I fell completely in love with you. He slid the ring on my finger, then kissed me like I was oxygen and he'd been drowning. When we broke apart, both breathless, I grinned mischievously. But the twins are asleep, and I'm curious about how persuasive you can be about consummating this engagement. His eyes darkened with promise. Careful what you wish for. He threw me over his shoulder, and my laughter echoed through our home as he carried me to our bedroom. Our home. Our family. Our future. Finally, we were all exactly where we belonged.